Cloud, do you agree with what you see on the internet where you have a lot of men that are pushing women to get married?
Um, hmm. I think that if the women want to get married, they should, but you can't make people get married if they don't want to. But if marriage is what they want, I think that's what they should focus on. I definitely do think that in today's time, a lot of women do desire marriage, but say that they don't, and then it puts them in a position where it makes it harder to get it when they actually do want it. So I definitely
Mhm.
think that if a woman does desire marriage, I think that's something that she should put up front and at the forefront of her dating life or whatever, just to get that out the way. Because if that's what you really want, I think that you should weed us out that way. Because like, again, if I meet, I'm not trying to get married right now. So if I meet somebody that's just like, hey, I'm trying to get married, I'd be like, well, nice meeting you. Like we don't have to do a date too. This has been great, and that's fine. You know what I mean? It'll scare me off, kind of, and that's a good thing. She wants to scare me off. You get what I'm saying? If she's trying to get married, because I'm not trying to get married right now. So I think by doing that, women will find exactly what they're looking for. Because there's guys out there that marriage is the first thing on their mind.
Okay,
May I respond?
we're gonna go to Ann, and then after you, Ann, I want to get the other folks in there. Go ahead.
I want to believe what you're saying, but to be honest, I don't think anyone wants to be 75 and alone. I don't think anyone wants to struggle with wiping themselves when they're incontinent. I think there's this idea of what marriage is like and then what it actually is. And I think truly, 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 we will not become our best versions of ourselves if we do not commit to something or someone or a bigger than us. And it's only in the safety of marriage can you be your most ugliest, immature, grossest self, and someone still shows up for you. Um, and I don't believe her when she says I don't want marriage, because then if she didn't, she wouldn't be trolling us with wedding pictures. She really thought out that whole thing. So like for me, it's like I think a lot of people say, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal because they're just coping with this disillusionment and a belief that they can't have what they really want. What I'm trying to advocate here is she has plenty of options, but she has barred herself from experiencing that for a specific reason. And I think a lot of modern women, have a fear of giving it all to a man and it not all like working out. And so they resign themselves to this. And the most ironic part of it all is they still deal with men. Like they'll be 45 and be a side chick, but won't get married.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't know if in today's time, like a lot of those tropes that go along with marriages are, oh, who's going to be there with you when you're alone, but
Hmm.
I mean, people die. I think people forget that. Like, people do die. Like,
Yeah,
there are plenty of people who have been happily married to the love of their life, and before they got old, they died, and they spent the rest of their years until they're 70 alone. So it's like this idea that people don't or can't spend certain ages alone. Like, I know a lot of old people who are alone and very happy alone, but there's also old people who are alone and not happy. Again, I think it really boils down to everybody's personality. Some people have been married 50 years, and then when they get old, they're like, I'm done with this. I don't want to, I
but
just want to be.
Jones,
Then
knowing that
hold on, I
exists
want to add one
though,
more
does
thing.
that
Hold
matter
on,
for you?
and
I
let them
just want to
finish.
add one more thing. And on
Oh,
top of
sorry.
that, we live in a world where being single is a lot less expensive, especially for men. And because of that, the prospect of being able to afford paying for professional care in your older age isn't really that far out of reach, like we imagine that, oh, if you don't have a family or a wife, that no one's going to take care of you. But the reality is that your family and your wife are more than likely going to hand that off to a professional. So like they'll be there, they'll come visit you at the hospital, they'll come see you at the hospice, but the person who's really going to be wiping your butt is probably going to be some nursing student. You know what I mean? Like some 22-year-old that's trying to get her credits and her hours. You know what I mean? So that's just what the reality is. So you can pay for that, and I think that's why we're kind of getting into a more transactional kind of time in society, because like old guy could pay somebody. He could pay a woman to do the wifely duties, and there are so many women who would gladly take the check. You know, what you want me to do? Cook, clean 3 times a week. What's the check gonna be? As long as it's the right number, she'll do it, and he don't got to worry about no arguments, no fights, because they're not in no emotional relationship. It's just he's getting his needs met, she's getting her needs met. So there's so many options too for transactions today. I could see how someone can, especially someone who's not a really who doesn't have a really close attachment style. I could see how someone could not want to be in a relationship like that.
All right. Let me go ahead and get Jazz in there.
It was interesting listening to her because I was like, dang, I do agree with a lot of that as far as like I'm not searching for love or anything like that because I have a lot of other love in other spaces, whether it comes from family or friends and things like that. But I do want to have a relationship and I do want to like have a life partner and that type of love and intimacy, but I'm just not like pressed for it at the time just because of trauma and other things that's happened and, just being exhausted with the relationship game at the time, like, because a lot of it does become a game over time. You just feel like it's either transactional. You don't do for this person, you don't get, it's just it's a lot of work to be in a relationship and everyone knows that. So it's just, I'm taking the time for myself. So if she just would have said that, like, hey, I'm just going to take some time for me right now. And, if it finds me, which she kind of did say, like, if it finds her, then she's open to it. But to just marry yourself kind of just like closes you off from the game altogether. It's like you're just saying, hey, I love me. You can come along, that's fine. But yeah, I'm not that delusional yet. I really I prefer to have a ring and a man to go with it to kill bugs and, cut grass and things like that.
I have a question though, because I can play with the idea that it's delusional, right? But I feel like, especially in the man space, we say a lot that a lot of women don't really want the wedding, I mean the marriage, they just want the wedding.
That's true.
Like, right? And so could this be her actually not being delusional and actually being extremely honest? Like she's like, you know what? I don't want the wedding. I don't want the marriage. I just want the wedding. So she got the dress she wanted, she got the catering she wanted, and she threw a party in celebration of herself. You know what I mean? And it's like maybe she's one of the only women that are being honest because like I think a lot of women don't really care if the man is there for the wedding. They just want that moment. They want those pictures. They want to say that I'm loved by somebody. And then the rest they could kind of, I mean, I'm good. They could toss the rest. Like I had that. I got the pictures. We ate the cake. You know what I mean? No more sex.
That's not really, that's not far from the truth. I definitely believe a lot, especially the ones where they get divorced like 2 months later or a year later. It's like, you just wanted the $10,000 party, which is ridiculous. But
that is ridiculous.
But for the ones that go to the courthouse and just get married and stuff like that, or, they just get married in a small church or in their backyard or something, like they're really there for, they want to share that love with their close friends and family and then, just share that union. I want that type of thing. Like not spending that much money on a party. It's ridiculous.
Half of them are rooting for your downfall anyway.
That part.